Having both stupid and incompetent characters show up in disaster movies ended up being a lot more realistic than previously assumed. Like us to read you more awesome Reddit topics? Just like and subscribe to our channel. I'm now picturing future generations watching movies portraying our current events and commenting on how unrealistic the films are. One of us, well into our 80s, will be in the bonus commentary where we basically confirm all the insane stuff that happened. Everyone panic bought toilet roll for years on end. Oh yeah? I read about toilet roll. That's what they used before bidets were everywhere. Did the virus cause heavy diarrhea? No, not really. Mostly breathing problems. Then why did they panic buy toilet roll? Because everybody thought it did. Didn't they just listen to the advice of doctors telling people what the main symptoms were and weren't? No, not really. They made up their own minds. Wow, people back then were pretty stupid. That's fake news for you, kid. It was more panic over potential toilet paper shortages due to the supply chain being disrupted by the pandemic that caused the panic buying. You may notice a slight issue with that reasoning. Your classic run on the bank scenario. Bank runs are still more reasonable considering that banks work with 90% liabilities. If you're not the first 10%, you won't get anything back. Turns out a lot of people would be bit by zombies and not tell anyone about, or worse, tell their boss and still be told to come in. We're an equal opportunity employer. Any discrimination against vitality impaired people will be reported to HR. With that in mind, please welcome our new assistant production line manager, Mr. HRGH, vitality impaired. I'm sorry, but that is offensive. The correct term is mortality impaired. As someone who is a zombie, let me tell you I am just as full of vitality as the rest of you. The lazy zombie stereotype has to die. It's not the 70s anymore. Actually, mortality impaired implies mortality as some sort of preferred state. In fact, without mortality we are much productive workers than those with the old normal levels of mortality. I can just imagine a zombie in a suit and tie barking orders, but all the orders are just loud groans. HR and GG. Oh yes, of course sir. Right away. Who are? Or leader? We can just do it la. Hog? I'm sorry, I'm not sure I unders. Nor hun. If you could just stop enter. HGH. Upping me? I was just going to. HMPGH. Are you finished? What I was. HGGGRRRHHPHHTTTHH? Well, except a significant percentage of disaster movies end up on a good note, and the dead are anonymous. In the real world, we and people we know actually have to bear the scars of these incompetent and stupid characters for quite a few years, if not forever. Given the current polling, we'll be voting for them. Well, let's skip to the end where the smart characters finally overcome and save the damn day. This isn't a Pixar movie though, so no happily ever after. Technically the Mad Max movies have happy endings. I think it really depends on how tightly you zoom in on the story. I mean, you pull back just a little bit and you see a very small group of people having one particular need addressed while the rest of the world suffers in hellish agony. That's how literally every movie in existence has been. What happens in our disaster movie is the rich move in and capitalize on every industry that collapsed or experienced a hard downturn, and our wealthy overlords take yet more control over society. Side benefit is that we will for sure lose some rich old white men to COVID-19, but that wealth is virtually guaranteed not to re-enter the economy if they have any contingencies in place. And clueless leadership ignoring the scientists. We thought we were too smart to make such stupid mistakes in real life. We were wrong. Scientists? PFFT, what do they know compared to a politician who got into his office based on popularity votes? Ironically, didn't even win the popular vote. This feels like high school all over again. Why would the mayor not listen to the scientists warning him about the impending volcano just to save the economy? Because, cue upbeat musical music and random dancing people in the park, it's all about the money, money, money. Swap a killer shark for coronavirus and July 4th for spring break, and you've got Governor DeSantis playing Mayor Vaughn. All the stupid people in our popular culture made it seem socially acceptable to be a freaking idiot. I'm here to tell you, it's not. Stop it. Freaking stop. Life is not a scripted reality show. No one's impressed. Stop reproducing and go read a freaking book. Make smart cool again. I could never stand those forced dramas screaming at each other reality TV shows. I figure enough people had that stuff on autoplay in the background for enough years that it turned into habit for them. Idiocracy. Inaccurate. In that film, when they find an intelligent person, they try to put him in charge of policy. But they don't like his ideas. Can you blame them? He says that plants don't crave electrolytes. Imagine. Stupid and incompetent people were present in World War I and II too, and in the Great Depression and in the French Revolution and in the Civil War and in the Egyptian Empire at the time, and in the colonies of the European countries and in the Middle Ages and in the Dark Ages and in Rome, and in the Stone Age and in the Bronze Age and in the Age of Enlightenment. They will probably be present in the Mars colonies and in the space hotels in the future too. They will probably be present in the Mars colonies and in the space hotels in the future too. Going to hold you for that. Remind me, 100 years. But does the dog always surviving still ring true? Has any dog other than an I Am legend died in a disaster? Apocalypse movie? FML. Foreshadowing winking face. Turns out there are stupid and incompetent people in real life too. Having the stupid and incompetent characters be all of the ones in charge would make it super realistic, right now. Turns out they didn't have enough stupid characters. In the movies, it's only 1-2 characters. In real life it's tens of thousands. Jurassic Park sounds more and more plausible every day, particularly the part where they were allowed to keep making parks for the sake of money. Girl on Tinder from yesterday. Her, I've been to a birthday party. Me, what about social distancing? Her, oh don't worry, it was only 9 people. You know how at World War Z the doctor just straight up slips on a ramp, hits his head, and dies? That scene should be more appreciated. Well, it has to be historically accurate. I would like to leave the theater now, please. In a film about COVID-19, I can see someone's house blowing up as they accidentally set their hoard of toilet roll on fire, which spreads to their stash of hand sanitizer. I remember there was one movie about a monster attacking Tokyo, and the main character was a total frickin', a lazy moron who had no skills to aid in the plot, and people reacted appropriately to his stupidity. It just felt super realistic. I never had any doubts about the sheer amount of stupid or incompetent people that are part of the human race. Disaster or not, they will unfortunately always play a major role in our society. Full disclosure, I might be one of them. Panic and stupidity were added in movies because it was realistic. Humanity is smart AF. Humans are stupid. We are in idiocracy. Incorrect. In some respects we are in a worse reality, because at least the leadership in idiocracy, while absolutely stone-cold dumb, listened to the better judgment and gave the necessary powers to someone smarter than they were to fix their failing country. Like I'd never thought I'd say bring on President Camacho. That man cared about his country and he might actually be smart enough to let the people who know what they are doing fix things. But here we are. Can't wait for HBO's take on all of this. It'll be like Chernobyl, but for the coronavirus. I wonder how this will change the way disaster movies are written. I feel like we greatly underutilized the absurdly rich supervillain archetype, though. You mean, our future generations watch our news channels and see how they turned out? You should see my Facebook feed. The amount of people I know who genuinely believe that the stay-at-home order is a conspiracy to control us is quite disturbing. This is the end perfectly captures the current disaster. This whole situation has been life imitating art. I can't tell you how many apocalyptic type movies I've been reminded of over the last few weeks. I've always wanted to see a movie about the second-hand account of another person's life, i.e., you work at KFC and Gassy was your boss, but the story revolved around you and not him. You learn he did all that stuff later, but the climax of the film is you losing your job because he went to prison. I've always thought this, people complaining about how good a movie is because the character made stupid-ass decisions. Like, hello, don't you live in the real world, where people don't make the correct decisions in most cases? I missed the episode of The Walking Dead where a preacher invited the zombies into a crowded mega church. With the way things are now, it would be entirely believable. Idiocracy gets a little less ironic every day. Can we get the competent ones now? I'm not talking about doctors, I'm talking about the people in charge. Yeppers. Nice. Hey, my brother, just had this thought yesterday. Assuming this, if there were actually ghosts, we would also probably go near them then run away. Those movies were a warning. Idiocracy was right all along. True. To be honest, I'm about to just use some frickin' leaves. It may make up for 90% in reality. I wasn't expecting the apocalypse to be so stupid. This might be the saddest shower thought yet. Brondo's got what plants crave. Finally, a good shower thought.